What's up, guys? So back out here again. It's across from where I work. Highway right there. And you know what's interesting? I got an old map of Indian trails through my county from 1800s and earlier. And all the old Indian trails are now our main highways and roads. Went down through here. On this side, same thing, Indian Trail. Then it shot out the other highway that goes out to the next little town. And so on. And then the old villages and settlements where the Native Americans were set up. Our little towns are sat right on top of them now. We basically just came in and stole everything. That's exactly what we did. We pushed them off, killed them, stole it. Built right on top of it. How sad is that, man? Like, we couldn't rebuild, a couple miles away or something like that. No, we rebuilt right on top of where they was at. Never mind, that's a whole different subject. But, Amy asked if I would share some encounters and experiences, and yeah, so I started it yesterday, and here's part 2 of yesterday. So after I went up there and I found what was built, I ended up spending a good bit of time out there. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't know who to tell. Got on Google, and well, actually, how I found out that it could possibly be SAS was I was here at work telling a buddy about it, and he's like, "Oh, Bigfoot make those things," and that's kind of where it's like I started to kind of look into the subject and just see what I could find on it. Did I believe it was Bigfoot? No, not at all. Not yet. I wasn't that far. But, so I got on Google, started searching Bigfoot, and all the names come up, the dudes with the cowboy hats, Scott Carpenter, folks like that with the bigger, that you always see in this, But there was never no, answers, nobody had any proof. At least from what I was finding early on stages, So sorry, it's noisy out here. I get into the whole Facebook realm of things, My buddy here at work, he was a member in the Coshocton County Bigfoot group, and so I started following them. I joined their group. I joined several. But in the meantime, I was still going out there. I'd walk up to that thing where that teepee was, and I'd just hang out, sit for a couple hours, and I'd hear weird sounds around me breaking. But I could never see nothing, you know what I mean? I can never thought, man, if these are these big monkeys, they are smart. And at the time when I started thinking, okay, maybe it is, maybe we do got a monkey or ape running around in North America. And that's what I thought, that's what I thought. And you see this Patty video and stuff, so it's like, that's what you're expecting to see. That's what you're expecting to find. Time goes by. I'm not sure how long. I'm not, like I said, I don't know. Not quite a year, maybe. I don't know. Well, you know, Jay's reaching out to me. And a few other people are. I've shared a couple pictures, and of course now everybody's interested and they want to see it. No, man, I'm not taking anybody, you know. Not taking anybody out there, keeping it close. Eventually I give in. And since Jay was one of the first ones that helped me when these folks on Google never respond back, it's like, he messaged me. It's like, yeah, okay, let's go out in the morning. Alright, yeah, I'll meet you here, we'll head out. Later that night I get a call. Hey, I got a couple guys I'm bringing with me. Okay, well, I didn't want to be a dick. It was the very next day, the very next morning, you know, I didn't want to back out just to be a jerk, so whatever. So next morning comes, we meet these guys. I don't want to, they probably wouldn't care if I gave their name. I've been out with them several times since. They're pretty cool dudes. We've been out, I don't know, 3 times now, 4 times. But, so we all go out there, and I'm showing them. We head up. We get to the teepee thing, and I can tell they're onto something. They recognize it. They ain't saying a whole lot. Which, to be fair, none of us, this is my first time ever meeting Jay also. Like, none of us ever been out with each other and done anything. So we, you know, I was always stopping at the whole teepee thing. I didn't know, you know, I didn't know to go farther or any of that. Like, there was never, that was cool. I was having stuff pop off around me, just going up there and hanging out. I'd take melons and, you know, just stuff everybody says not to do, I was doing. And I'd hear, you know, the stuff around me, but I could just never see nothing. And so we're looking at that. Then we start traveling farther, and there's a trail not far from it. And it was a little damp, you know, like it rained the day before. Early spring, you know, by this time. So we go heading up that trail, basically just crossing the trail, and I find a print. But it wasn't like clear, you know, it was like, that's a maybe, you know, like where something stepped on this trail and into the woods down over the hill. So I holler for the other guy to come over. He comes over, looks at it. He says, that's a double track. He said, that looks like a mom track with the little one stepping inside her track. And we look at it, and it's heading down over the hill. So, of course, that's the way we go. We take off. And, you know, he's sitting there like, this is fresh. You know, this just happened. Maybe this morning. So that's the way we take off. We take off down over that hill. And on the way down, you know, we're noticing a few things. And we find this area, and there's a bunch of structures. Almost looks like I don't know. It's just stuff, a lot of stuff, you know. A lot of the stick stuff. So then we go farther, and this is where it gets interesting, and just before my sighting. And you know, it's spring, so everything's, I mean, it's a jungle. We're in a jungle, basically. It's briars up to our chest, you know. It looks like land that hadn't been touched in 60 years, you know. Woods. And there's this little ravine. And I'm pushing forward. I can't, like when we first get into this stick stuff, for some reason I was in front. And he was a little ways behind me, maybe 20 feet. And I'm pushing through it. And I hear him say, like, I remember passing this little sapling. And it was, you know, maybe up to here on me. just a little one, you know, a little fresh sapling, just barely growing up through the thick. And I remember passing it, and you know, I go about 20 feet and I hear him say, the guy behind me, "Did you do that?" I stop, turn around, and now that sapling is snapped and broken. It broke over. And that's like, I just remember my heart hitting my guts, my stomach. Like it just dropped. Like, holy crap. And you know, this was thick. Like I got some pictures I might have to post with this video to show you guys so you understand how thick this area was. But it hit me like a ton of bricks, like something, as I passed, reached out, snapped that sapling without me ever noticing it, and the guy 20 feet behind me ever noticing it. Like that's when I started thinking, these ain't smart monkeys. This is something that's better than me in the woods. And I started realizing, thinking, I'm in no man's land. Like that could have been my neck, and like there's something out here that's better than me. And that was the first time in my life I ever felt that while in the woods, you know, like bears, mountain lions, like I don't feel like anything has the advantage on me, but that did. And I just remember my thoughts like, oh crap, you know. And then somehow we break apart a little bit, and there was like a ravine, a dried out ravine, in a little, like a creek bed. It banks down, goes down to the lower level, slopes back up like this. Well, E, Kane, J was the order in the ravine. I was up 15 feet from him on this bank, kind of paralleling them. E was in leading, and we're just following this to a pond that I know was back in there, you know. And we're still going through all this. It's still real super thick. But now I got my head's like really on my, I'm scanning, like, because 5 minutes earlier we had the little sapling get broke without either one of us catching what did it, you know. And that was nuts, and that just always stuck with me. But now we're scanning. Man, this video is getting long. And like I said, he's down here. Well, then all of a sudden he whistles, and I look over, and on the opposite bank of me, there's a head popped up over this brush. The brush is up to here on it, and it's looking down like this at E. And then it looks up, sees me, and it's oh man, its eyes were just, it was so serious looking, like, and it wasn't big. Like, it reminded me of maybe a 6 foot tall human, but like I said, it was the proportions of his head was our proportion, you know what I mean? And my first thought was, where's this thing's ears? Like, I didn't see no ears. And all this time I thought I was after a monkey, you know? And it looks at me, I look at it, we lock eyes, and we're not very far away. Here to, oh gosh, I was on this side of the ravine up the bank, and it was probably about where that log jam is on the other side of the ravine. Them guys were right down in here, you know what I mean? It wasn't far, 20 feet, 30 feet. clear enough to see detail, you know. Our eyes lock. It drops. See, I'm shaking now just talking about it. This don't make me... This memory's fried into my brain. You guys have to understand that. Like, it's not... I remember it like it was yesterday. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. I've told this story 1,000 times to friends and just everybody. It drops. I hurry up, whip my cell phone out. But I was still treating it like an animal, like a stupid animal, you know. I lead it with my phone. I'm thinking it's gonna take off, like, because the look on its eyes was like, I'm out of here, you know. So I get my phone out and I start scanning in front of where I thought it would be heading. I thought, I'm gonna catch this thing on the move. And I'm recording, and I got all this on video. And I'm recording, nothing's taking off. There's nothing moving. And it just vanishes. And you know, thinking back now, and you hear me on the video, I was like, it was right there, you know. I'm telling them, it's right there, you know, right above you guys. And I was just in the right position to where I was the lucky one that caught this thing slipping. And yeah, man, that was my first... Like, I had something happen when I was a kid, but I was so young. I don't talk about that one a whole lot nowadays. But it was something that kind of, a memory that came back now that I'm older, you know. But this was crystal clear. It wasn't something way off in the distance. It wasn't. And yeah, it was fur, you know, like... I'll get into this other side of things eventually, but this was fur, and I got my own beliefs on what these things can, what they can do. But looking back now, and I'll get into all that eventually, but looking back now, that thing never, it looked like a Native American. Like, it looked like a Native American's long-lost brother. Its face, everything. I mean, it was jet black. Like black on black, you know, blacker than black, the color of it. But the eyes were Native American. I seen Native American in those eyes, you know. And I guess that's why I've been deep diving Native American history. Because that was a Native American. You know Irish when you see Irishmen. You know, I don't want to get into that, but you know races when you see them. You know what I mean? That was the Native American folks. But I think we'll stop there. And that's where it all started. And man, it's been a wild ride since that day there. Wild ride. And I don't share a whole lot because it's like everyone tries using you in this. Like, everybody tries using you. And it's a lot of egos, man, and it's really weird. And I'm not used to that. Like, my friends have always been solid, you know. I've always had solid people around me, not people that take advantage and use, you know. So, and I get enough attention from my family. Like, I don't need attention from this whole realm, you know what I mean? I try to do everything without ego. Everything I do is without ego. Just because I know this world is just it's a battleground that we're meant to fight through to get elsewhere. And you got to do it selfless, you know what I mean? And sorry, I keep getting off on these little rants, but yeah, it's tough. I mean, because everybody wants to be somebody in this, you know. And if you want answers, you just gotta hit it. I mean, you gotta screw this realm, the whole community crap, you know. And it's kind of like your own journey. You know, we always want to do this with everybody else, but it's, you know, I look at it like my journey. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy going out with, there's folks I enjoy getting out with, and we do from time to time, and you see it, but not very often, man. It's I look at it like it's my journey, and I share bits and pieces here and there. And I'll help anybody, you know. And I guess that's when I started this, that was my biggest issue, that I was so upset because we did it that easy. We went out there, we tracked it, we found it that easy, super easy. But then all these questions, like, it didn't bug me at all when I was out there, but that night when I was at my house, my mind just would not shut down. Like, I went from having just a handful of questions to a million questions. And then I got mad, I was upset, I was messaging everybody, and nobody knew. And the couple people that did know, the handful that didn't know anything, they don't talk. And I get that now too, like, I understand that. But I made up my mind. I was like, you know, after about a 3-day meltdown in my mind of not sleeping, just pissed off, upset, it finally hit me. Go do this yourself. You gotta do this yourself. And then when the next guy comes along, you help them. You give them the answers. You don't treat them the way you've been treated. That's what I did, man. And that's what I do. I don't put it all out there, but if somebody calls and messages, hey, what's this? Here you go. Here's what I've learned. You know? Because I don't care. That's what doing this without ego will do. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and blast all the spots all over social media where everybody and their brother can run out and run everything off and, you know, just whatever, you know. I'm not going to do that. But little baby groundhog just came up to me. But I will help, you know what I mean? I'll give you answers, real answers. And that pisses a lot of people off too, but I don't care, you know. There's a few things that I hold tight and stuff that I've promised people I would not give out, and my word's solid, you know. That'll never go anywhere. But what I've figured out, what I've learned, I'll give it to anybody searching. And I know you're searching, you know what I mean. But I gotta get off here. It's time for work. I'm gonna be late. Y'all have a good one. Love you. Peace. Carry on tomorrow or the next day.